Heels are a vital part of wrestling. Without a good villain to hate, we wouldn't be anywhere near as invested as we've become. History has given us some truly amazing heels, starting in the 1940s with Gorgeous George, who is credited as the father of the wrestling gimmick and considered to be the first real heel in the wrestling business. Over the many years, we've seen some incredible heels, riling us up, cheating at every opportunity, and almost starting riots. In this list, we take a look at our picks for the top 8 greatest heels to ever get our blood boiling. So grab a handful of tights, use the ropes for leverage, and let's get to it. Number 8. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Woo yeah! Although Randy Savage is loved and adored by almost every wrestling fan on earth, it wasn't always that way. Macho Man is one of the greatest heels to ever step into the ring. In the territories, he was despised on levels only previously reached by the greats. Of course, nothing was more dastardly than that time he pile-drove Ricky Morton onto a table in Memphis, catching the eyes and attention of the entire wrestling world. In fact, he garnered so much attention that he would end up in the WWF a year later, debuting in July 1985. No stranger to heat, Savage quickly acquired a manager, Miss Elizabeth, treating her like his property and snapping at anyone that tried to talk to her, driving fans insane with his actions in the process. Savage was thrust into the spotlight quickly, and he defeated the World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan 3 times in a row via countout, giving Hulk Hogan his first real challenge outside of Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. Savage's heel persona was personified when he became the Macho King, and he played a vital role in the main event scene when the Mega Powers exploded. He is best remembered for driving a ring bell into Ricky Steamboat's throat, igniting a feud that is still talked about to this day. Number 7. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Just when you think you know all the answers, I change the questions. No conversation about heels is complete without Rowdy Roddy Piper. During his early days of the golden era in the WWF, Piper became a household name with his quick wit and spiteful temper, garnering huge levels of attention. He is best remembered for his talk show segment Piper's Pit, which served as a launching pad for some great feuds, not just for Piper, but for many top WWF superstars. Piper's infamous segment where he smashed a coconut over Jimmy Superfly Snuka's head was replayed on TV for years and years. Piper played a vital part of the first WrestleMania, teaming up with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff to take on Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. Rowdy Piper confronted Mr. T on the set of the A-Team leading into WrestleMania, setting the stage for their clash. He even clashed with Cyndi Lauper after smashing her award over Captain Lou Albano's head. Over his career, Piper constantly proved he was one of the best on the mic, driving fans into crazy frenzies of rage. Number 6. The Iron Sheik. Aran, number 1. Without a shadow of a doubt, the Iron Sheik is one of the all-time most hated heels to ever be booed out of any arena. An incredibly gifted shooter and amateur wrestler in his younger years, the Iron Sheik broke into wrestling as a babyface and All-American Wrestling Champion due to his role as an assistant coach to the USA 1972 Olympic Wrestling team. Around the mid-70s, the Iron Sheik emerged in the AWA, and he quickly became a top heel for the company. Perhaps one of wrestling's most unique characters, the Iron Sheik drove fans into irate states of pure hatred, even leading to fans getting arrested for bringing guns to the arenas to shoot him and Jimmy Hart. The Iron Sheik is most famous for using his Persian clubs to work out in front of the crowd, showcasing his incredible strength. He even invited a young Ultimate Warrior to attempt to work out with the clubs, demonstrating how insanely challenging the workouts could be. Of course, the Iron Sheik made his way through the territories, getting heat from every crowd to set eyes on him before eventually arriving in the WWF for Vince McMahon. The Iron Sheik's squash matches for the WWF as he rapidly climbed up the card were incredibly exciting. From using his spiked boots to strike wrestlers with his kicks to executing vicious suplexes before making them humble in his camel clutch, the Iron Sheik was the real deal. The Iron Sheik played an important role in starting Hulkamania after defeating Bob Backlund, who succumbed to injury after 6 months of brutal matches against the top heels in the WWF. When Backlund's manager Skolin threw in the towel, the Iron Sheik became the most hated man in New York. He then passed the torch to Hulk Hogan, igniting the fire of Hulkamania. Number 5. Ravishing Rick Rude. What I'd like to have right now is for all you fat, ugly, inner city sweat hogs to keep the noise down while I take my robe off and show the ladies what a real sexy heel looks like. Rick Rude was an amazing heel, famous for spray painting his opponents' faces or wives on his wrestling gear to get under their skin. Rude oozed confidence and sex appeal, making him the perfect heel. Acting as if every woman in the arena and a 10-mile radius wanted him drove fans nuts, and most of the women loved it. However, slowly removing his robe to show off his incredible physique wasn't all he had to offer. Rude was an absolute beast on the mic and in the ring. He cheated at every opportunity, cutting as many corners as he could to hurt his opponents, and he cut amazing promos that made you pay attention. Rick Rude was a formidable force and a despised heel. Rude is just one of those heels that made hating him so much fun, and he inspired pro wrestlers with his fantastic body of work. Number 4. The Miz. When discussing disliked wrestlers with any fan, if The Miz doesn't come up as a great heel, then they probably haven't watched wrestling after 2006. The Miz quickly evolved from being a reality star rookie to one of the most entertaining heels in the WWE when he teamed up with John Morrison. They started an online segment called The Dirt Sheet in February 2008 where they mocked fellow WWE superstars and pop culture, showcasing just how good The Miz could be with his heel promos. The Miz is one of those rare modern wrestlers who truly lives the gimmick, and it sets him apart from his peers in today's wrestling world where kayfabe is rare. By 2010, The Miz had climbed up the card and become a much despised heel after introducing his smart catchphrase, "I'm The Miz, and I'm awesome!" In November 2010, The Miz became the WWE Heavyweight Champion by cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on Randy Orton, much to the dismay of fans. In recent times, The Miz has stayed true to his reality TV and acting star roots, dubbing himself as an A-lister and becoming the star of his own reality show alongside his wife. On the show, he portrays a total douchebag, perfectly aligning with his gimmick. Number 3. Superstar Billy Graham. One of the greatest talkers in wrestling history, a despised villain and a wrestler whose style is widely imitated, Superstar Billy Graham is often described as being way ahead of his time in the wrestling world. His victory over Bruno Sammartino, ending Sammartino's 3-year reign as the WWF World Heavyweight Champion, left fans in shock. In true heel fashion, Superstar used the ropes to pin Sammartino to the mat, leaving the audience stunned. Superstar wasted no time, swiftly exiting the ring with the championship belt, fully aware of the danger he was in. Even the police officers assigned to escort him to the back were trying to convey to the referee that Superstar had cheated. It was a truly unforgettable moment. During his time as heel, Superstar Billy Graham had a remarkable run, and he is best remembered for one act of pure villainy when he returned to the WWF in 1982. What made his act so memorable was that he destroyed Bob Backlund's World Heavyweight title, which was replaced with the much-hated ugly green strap world title that fans despised. It was a move that cemented Superstar Billy Graham's reputation as a ruthless and cunning heel in the wrestling world. Number 2. The Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo! It's time to talk about the dirtiest player in the game, Ric Flair. He was such a phenomenal heel that he managed to transition into a beloved babyface without changing his wrestling style. He could use low blows and thumbs to the eye and still receive cheers after years of delivering the most entertaining matches and promos. However, it wasn't always smooth sailing for Flair. He himself has described situations where he willingly lost the title to a hometown hero just to avoid causing a riot because he was so despised by fans that they wanted to skin him alive. That's how much heat he could generate. With the formation of the Four Horsemen, Flair's villainy reached new heights. Having a posse of badasses around him at all times, beating up everyone in their path, was a masterstroke in keeping Ric Flair's World's Heavyweight title safe. Of course, with a career as wild and lengthy as the Nature Boy Ric Flair's, it's tough to pinpoint his most dastardly moments. So, we invite all you amazing Wrestle Savage fans to subscribe and let us know your favorite or most hated heel moments of the Nature Boys in the comments, because we'll be replying with a woo! Number 1. Vince McMahon. No chance, son, that's what you've got. Vince McMahon was undeniably the perfect heel for the Attitude Era. Following the infamous Montreal Screwjob, Vince was already on the receiving end of asshole chants and fans holding up signs taking all sorts of hilarious jabs at him. So why not embrace it and go full heel? And that's exactly what he did. Vince became the quintessential heel boss, perfectly complementing Stone Cold Steve Austin's rebellious gimmick. He used his powers as the owner of the WWF to screw over superstars and manipulate the main event picture, driving fans absolutely insane. Some of his most memorable moments involve being tormented by Stone Cold Steve Austin, having his own daughter abducted just to mess with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and even turning Mankind into Dude Love. Vince was a total lunatic in every way, shape, and form. He even stepped into the wrestling ring to show off just how insanely jacked he was under the suits that he'd been wearing for so many years. Vince possessed all the perfect qualities to be the perfect heel for the business, and it was all topped off by his incredibly animated facial expression. He wasn't just the greatest heel of all time, he was the most entertaining character to watch. Vince's facial expressions have become popular memes, and throughout his heel work, he solidified his place in pop culture.